Good evening, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your metal market wrap-up, and this wrap-up is for the evening, as we're now on Wednesday, the 4th of February, 2026, and the time right now, I think we're around, we are about 6:05, 6:10 p.m. Central Time. By the way, people writing me about the lingering cough after the flu, they are so right. The runny eyes, the whole thing, it's still there even with all the pills. There's an event that we have to keep our eyes on right now. We got a lot of news coming out because the government reopened. We're going to get jobless claims. We're going to get jobs report. We're going to get the JOLTS report, a lot of that. But the event that's really happening, and you've got to pay attention to it, is the meeting on or off between Iran and the United States. Obviously, Iran's trying to change the agenda because they have their own red lines in the sand. They don't want to give up missiles. They don't want to be told who they can give money to, if they want to support insurgents, so on. President Trump has lines in the sand. He wants no nuclear development for a nuclear bomb. He wants no missile development further. And he wants to stop them giving money to the insurgents. Each side's going to have to give something if they want to get into an agreement. The one thing that is not negotiable, I believe, from the United States point of view, is nuclear. And they want all the enriched nuclear material that Iran might have, and they want a way to watch if they allow them to do nuclear development for so-called peaceful efforts, okay? And I don't even know if Trump will allow that. He might tell them you can buy the nuclear you need for that. You're not going to enrich it on your own. I can't tell you what's going to happen. What I can tell you is I've been around this long enough, and I think I understand this man. He's amassing a naval force. He's got in an Iron Dome system to protect U.S. assets in the region. He's under tremendous pressure from all the countries in the Middle East not to attack Iran. Iran is sending out messages, sacrifice a drone to show that they can get up in the air and do things, attack in a way but not board a U.S. vessel in the Strait of Hormuz to show what they can do there. And now the rhetoric, one day on, one day off. Let's assume they go in and they take out Khomeini. Okay, what's the next power? You can't have a powerless country like that. It'll go into total chaos. We saw what happened in Iraq. So you got to be very, very careful with what you do and how you do it. And all the neighbors are involved. That's why they've been invited to a meeting if it occurs. I bring this up because gold is probably rallying on this news. On the other hand, you were up today sharply in crude, and now you're giving that up. Is the meeting on? Is the meeting off? Where are you? This is the difficulty, and it's like having schizophrenia because that's what you're playing in the market right now. When we look at the day's events tomorrow, you're going to get Challenger Gray, the corporate layoffs at 6:30. You're going to get the jobless claims at 7:30. The JOLTS, and it's a very important report, how many offerings are there for jobs, what's the percentage of people in turnovers, that's at 9. And then you're going to get, because of the weather, of course, the EIA gas report. It's liable to set a record. In January of 2018, the biggest withdrawal took place of 359 billion cubic feet. They're looking right now for 375. But it's going to be a big number. It's anything under 300, the market would be amazed and probably get very bearish. But just giving you what I'm seeing through there. So those are the events in the futures markets you look at. You know that there's a rollover going on in the stock market where there's a fight between now the software companies and the semiconductor companies and those that build memory chips. What do you want to own? What don't you want to own? And how do I get away from this? Are we overpriced? What's real world prices? That's what you're dealing with. When we look at gold on its own, if it were to settle here for this contract, it would be an all-time high close, 50.11. If it were to settle there, I'm not saying it's going to. When we look at a daily bar chart, you can see how the market's coming back and forth and rocking and rolling right in this area. You have in the swing line a higher high but a lower low. And where's the neutral zone? You seem to be very close to it, near the 18-day average, where you've been for 1, 2, 3, 4 days, including today. I don't know if tomorrow will hit it or not. I don't have that crystal ball. As for resistance, it's back up near the highs up here. at 53.55. Supports 48.96 as I see it on the chart, the 18-day average, and momentum has gone flat. So I think the worst of the break is over. That's the important thing. And you've sort of entered this no man's land with everyone looking what's going to happen this weekend, and is the U.S. really going to use that force that we're building to sooner rather than later make an attack? No meeting will be the worst outcome you can imagine because it doesn't stop the president from doing something. You already saw today in a press conference that he held that they already have people on the ground, that Iran was looking to develop another nuclear site. He said it's not going to happen. You better believe him. It's not going to happen while he's there. Eventually, China, Russia will put some pressure on the U.S. because China gets its drones. Russia relies on them for a lot, too. There's a lot going on between the two countries that they need. And, you know, I imagine Russia gets drones from them as well. China gets a lot of oil. That's what I should have done it the other way. When we look at the silver here, you can see how you've had that monster break, the washout break. It just killed people in the markets. And as I told you, parabolic moves end that way. Was this overpriced becomes the big question. I think at this point it is. Unlike the gold, which got back over the 18-day average, this is having great trouble in getting over that number again. So it's not acting as bullish. Copper's in no man's land, right at the center, right? And it's been doing this for how long? Quite a while. You've gotten over the band, you've gotten back under it, right? And you keep coming back to that center price. This is probably a fair price for copper right now, as it looks to see how the U.S. economy and other world economies fare. We're going to get some central bank news this week, too. Bank of England, European Central Bank. Everybody's going to start telling you what they're doing with their monetary policy. And most are expected to sit tight. Higher high, lower low, as you can see in the platinum market. And in the dollar, I have been hoping that it would get to the 18-day average or thereabout and start failing. Any move under yesterday's low is the first sign to me, not today's low, yesterday's low, that this market is ready to start breaking down again. Be the first sign. Remember, you've stayed under these averages with this whole bounce that is taking place. So you put it together, you try to come up with game plans, and that's what I do each morning when I put out my morning research and give traders ideas on where to go. You move your cursor to the top up here. There'll be an icon you can click. You can move it right over there. You'll see a set of gears if you watch us on YouTube, or the best yet is go to IraEpstein.com. We'll have our ads and all ready. We're doing new graphics and everything at the beginning of the year. We'll have a lot going for us this month of February. And as I told you, I'm going to start holding webinars again. We're going to have different things coming on this month. That's what I'm shooting for, as soon as my voice gets better now. I'm Ira. You have yourself a great evening. Watch the other videos. I'll see you first thing in the morning with the Morning Flash.